But yeah, no, I've been making good money though, so there's that. Oh, hold on, I have a phone call.
Uh-oh.
The world is hungry.
Oh my god.
Are you using your own
Cameron,
voiceover?
Are you serious?
Hello?
Wow. I cannot believe my fucking ears.
You know what? That is some confidence. I can appreciate that. I'll give him that, bro. That's some confidence. I'll give him that shit.
That's some real shit. That's awesome.
Let's get on to the news.
Not much. In fact,
Yeah.
two of the things are the same thing.
Especially why I put them on there, because I just wanted to kind of, like, not much happened this week, but I did want to, like, kind of touch on the Mario stuff that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
But so basically, since Mario made the brilliant decision to make their Super Mario 3D All Stars game like a limited release only, people who, you know, did buy the game did the usual, and now they're like scalping it for exorbitant prices.
Okay, so I get this, right? Like, I understand it. Big butt, though. You can still buy it at GameStop.
Yeah, you could just go to GameStop and get those copies, which is super weird that people are doing this, you know.
Wait. So they released it physical?
Yeah. No, like that. So that's the thing, right? Like, they released physical copies and digital copies, and both of them are stopped as officially being sold by Nintendo, or I guess produced, March 31st, right? So it's no longer on the eStore, and whatever I guess is like already shipped and already in production is what we got. So
whatever's out is what's out.
Oh, that changes the story completely.
does
So-
it though?
Well, this entire time I thought it was digital only, and that's why it was stupid that they're. I mean,
They
it's
were
still
getting rid
stupid
of
that they made an artificial cutoff date, but.
Yeah, which they do with a lot of stuff, which is fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's still fucked up. However,
It's less bad that since there's physical copies out.
because there's physical copies, it's less bad. It's
But
still really stupid.
But because there's physical copies, people are like, hey, does anyone want to buy this copy of Super Mario 3D All Stars for $45,000?
I could just go to GameStop and get it for what was it, 60?
$60.
Get it for 60.
Fucking ridiculous.
But you know, there's gonna be people like me who didn't know there was a physical copy and be like,
That's true.
I suppose I'll get my $45,000 out of my savings account.
Like, who the fuck is trying to pay $45,000 for some fucking Mario games? Who?
Collectors who think
Ridiculous.
they can flip it.
Whales. Yeah.
Well, it's like, okay, so here's the thing, right? So, like, I understand the whole, like I was actually thinking about doing this too, which makes me a scumbag. But like, I was thinking about buying 2 copies, one for myself and one to keep like sealed and pristine and shit, and then put it up on eBay like for like $300 after everything's been sold, right? I'm not gonna do that, but I was thinking about it.
I mean, to be fair, doing that not nearly as bad as next week going, hey, anybody want this?
You're right. And
Yeah,
and you know what?
well-
Like say like when PT came out, right? If I had known PT was gonna go down as hard as it did, I definitely would have fucking put that shit on a PS4 and sold that bitch, 1,000,000,000%. You know, but you know,
Because I feel like there's always a difference between scalping and selling something that's rare.
you're right. Something that somebody wants that's rare. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the other thing too is I wouldn't have. I mean, I think $300 for a game is still like absolutely absurd. But like, that's the kind of collector's money that I could see someone reasonably
Yeah,
paying and
yeah.
not be completely out of house and home. Like,
That's rarity money.
Not $45,000.
yeah, no.
And
300
also,
good.
that's $45,000 when it's not a scarcity yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not even really a scarcity.
Well, like, okay, here's the other thing, and this is. So I bought some guitar. Like, this is not quite 1-to-1, but I bought some guitars that, like, for whatever fucking reason, I can't find their models anywhere in production. And and these are not like guitars that I've sought out. They're like, I'm gonna buy this random ass guitar, and like their serial number doesn't pop up anywhere. Like, so
Yeah.
I know I don't have anything particularly like fucked or anything like that, but like they're obviously semi-rare guitars, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't sell them for more like $1,000, and that's like really to the right buyer, because otherwise I'm just screwing somebody out of their money. Same thing. Like I wouldn't sell $1,000 fucking Mario 3D Land.
Right.
Like, fucking who cares?
Like, there's a line, and you really shouldn't fucking cross it.
Yeah. Well, it's like the other thing too is that like Nintendo makes it so hard for me to want to be a good consumer for them.
Yeah.
Because like with Sony and Microsoft, especially Microsoft, because Microsoft just makes their shit available, which is awesome. Because if I want to buy like Command and Conquer for the Xbox or some shit, like whatever, like they're just like, yeah, like you can't get it anymore, so we'll just port it, like whatever.
Yeah.
And like Sony,
And
if it's Kingdom Hearts, they
Sony
ported it.
right now is basically fucking begging you to pirate their shit 'cause with how fucking little they give a fuck about old stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like that's the other thing too, right? Is like Sony either makes ports of their super important shit, or I've already got a copy, and so it's legal for me to emulate it, right?
Right.
Because that's how emulation works essentially. Is that if you own the copyright or not copyright, if you own like the physical copy or like a digital copy of a game, it is legal for you to emulate it because you're
Yeah.
simply changing the software. But like Nintendo makes it so fucking hard to root for them because they do this with shit that is new. This is a new game. It came out 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck? Like, even if I wanted to, and like, I was thinking about going out and picking it up today because I have a day off, and I'm then like, you know what? I'm not gonna play these games. You know, I have Super Mario 64 somewhere on my DS. Like, and I bought that game years ago, and the only thing I ever played is the blackjack minigame. Like, so it's just like I know I'm not gonna play these games, but like
That's so true. Like, you don't have to play into these games either. It's like we'll just get this shit some other way, Nintendo. That's cool.
yeah. Well,
That's
it's like,
cool.
and that's the other thing too. Is like I want to support the actual company, but like if you're gonna make it like this difficult to get the new version of something that is 20 more or 20 plus years old, like I think Galaxy's coming up with like 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there is absolutely zero reason that I should feel bad about emulating something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think Breath of the Wild, I would feel bad about emulating because it's still available, like, and as it should be. It's literally like the best-selling Nintendo game for the past like 5 years.
It didn't get disappeared off the face of the earth for no reason.
Yeah, and like
it disappeared.
I think emulating like 64 and Sunshine are okay. I think Galaxy is a little bit more, like, bad's the wrong word, but like it's a little bit more like murky morality-wise.
It's a little closer, but the odds are you might still own like a Wii or some shit hanging around.
Yeah, or like a Wii U. Like I own a Wii
Yeah.
U. Fucking admittedly can't use it anymore because my cats chewed up the goddamn like sensor bar cable. But like, and like finding a copy of that is dirt cheap, right?
Yeah, it's not
Like
hard.
Sunshine is expensive. Super Mario 64 is super expensive, and even finding like the DS games are getting more expensive. So like I can kind of understand emulating the first two, and the last one's like a little bit on shaky ground. But like this fucking like Switch port, come on. And this, the other thing too. Hold on, sorry. Like this specific situation gets you on trial. The other thing too is that specifically like they didn't change much. Like yeah, they
really didn't.
They upped Galaxy to like 16 by 9 or something. But like according to a lot of stuff, there's just like not black bars, but like bars on the side of the screen, which sure it was made in 4.3, but like come on, you know?
Yeah, like they're not really remasters or remakes or anything. They didn't
They're
add
just
anything
ports.
new. Yeah.
And like I do think that like in terms of like accessibility to older games, like $20 for a port of an older game is like it's reaching, but sure. So like $60 for 3 games is like reaching, but sure. But like the fact that you're gonna take it away too is just like come the fuck on. Like what is wrong with you?
It's like, oh, I already paid fucking ridiculous bullshit, you know. Can you just give it to me? Just make it available to me at all times.
Yeah. Like I just don't
Like we were talking about with fucking, when I was talking about my internet earlier. It's like, damn, if you're gonna monopolize all our internet, at least make it work.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Oh.
Yeah. So, in the same vein, Nintendo kind of being a shitty business,
Oh yes.
Somebody released a Metroid demake demo, a Metroid Prime demake demo, and you know what? It looks pretty fucking good.
And it's still technically up.
Yeah, it's still technically up right now. It's been a few days. It's still up, so we don't know what's gonna happen yet.
Which Metroid is it?
Metroid Prime, the 3D
okay.
first-person one.
Yep.
Well, the first of the 3D first-person ones. Yeah, it looks really good. Time will tell. Like, the joke basically right now is when's Nintendo gonna step in and shut the shit down, because that's what they do. It's because it's like it's a demo that's up right now. Let's see. Yeah, they're just calling it. They're calling the project Prime 2D. They're not really using the word Metroid, so that might be why Nintendo hasn't caught wind of it yet. But
give it time.
yeah, but I actually saw a kind of theory on why they released this like this. Like, they said they've been working on this for like 5 years or whatever. I bet that they were just like, we kind of want to work on something else. We like doing this, but it's time to move on. So they just put out this just to say, hey, we did something cool. And,
You know, the best part about that, though, is that, honestly, if they just changed a couple assets, they could just make it their own game.
exactly, yeah. But I think, unfortunately, the point of this was to make Prime into a 2D game. Mm-hmm. But still, it's like, yeah, I would have rather just made their own original game,
Quick question. Mm-hmm. Could they technically be fined or sued for having level design similar?
No, not
unless
for
they straight up
similar
stole
level
assets.
design.
No.
Right? Yeah. Like if
Okay.
nobody owns rocks with brass on them.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's a 3D to 2D, it's all its own like level design technically. But let's say like it was a 2D to 2D, and they are just trying to recreate it, and they use the same level layout.
Nah, because then it's still like, unless you're literally copying and pasting them, then no, it's still like you made the thing yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
like
like
really all they can really get you on is like the name, maybe like specific character designs, shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's their IP, so like Samus, Metroid, that kind of stuff, they can get you on that. But like the thing about it's kind of super murky too, because like at what point do all RTS games start looking like Command and Conquer, or like StarCraft?
I mean, I was gonna say the same thing with MOBAs. All the MOBA battlefields pretty much look
it's all just
similar.
fucking Dota, like.
Yeah.
Like if someone was to, like if they were to come in and copyright how it looked, then there would be no fucking games like that.
Because like I could definitely see a place where like if it was exactly the same stage layout that you could get sued for it. But like if you only use bits and pieces of the layout and mishmash it here and there, I think it'll be fine.
So
I was just curious.
One of the best ways I've ever heard copyright as far as artistic expression is concerned is that you cannot copyright an idea, you can only copyright the expression of the idea.
Gotcha.
So, like, I think
You can't
because they changed the
copyright-
medium, it's essentially different.
Well, it's like how Marvel gets away with having like their own version of Superman. DC doesn't own the idea of a guy who's super strong and can fly around. They own the idea of Superman. So you can call him Hyperion or the Sentry or the Utopian
Or Ultraman.
Exactly.
And then you get to Japan, where copyright is just fucked.
Even though Ultraman in the DC universe is literally an alternate version of Superman, who's like a bad guy.
Yeah. But no, I if they changed a lot of the names, like technically there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I know level design is one of those things where like it gets really weird when something is exact same as another game.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like for years I wanted a Golden Sun, like a fourth game, but now I'm just like, can somebody just make a good Golden Sun send up, with that kind of like fighting system, like that kind of combat system, maybe that kind of world traversal.
Yeah.
Because the combat is not just from Golden Sun the way it's done. It's also from Shining Force, which is by Camelot. Camelot did is the dev team behind Golden Sun shit. A lot of their RPGs have a little bit of the same kind of combat system, but
I gotta look this up.
just the way it kind of looks, and like, you know, the characters all being close to you and the enemies being off to like the side a little bit.
Yeah.
So like that, like if like Nintendo couldn't copyright like that style because they use it in Golden Sun, because it's also used in Shining Force, which is a Sega game. Copyright's fucky though, because
Yeah,
they can also like they can fuck you over if you have something that's a little too similar sometimes, you know.
That's like the
Like,
weird
if they-
thing about. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, because if this were like called like Metrude, you know, Nintendo could still step in and be like, nah.
It's too similar.
Yeah.
That's why you call it Substation Roid.
yeah.
No, like
It's pretty good.
that's the weird thing about like music copyright, for example, right? Which is the thing that I'm most knowledgeable about because that's what matters to me. Like, people will go so far as to copyright like specific notes in a melody,
Yeah.
which makes zero sense to me. Like, I understand it like colloquially, where you're like, okay, that's like the Hendrix thing, you know? Like we have those
Right,
for guitar. We have like Hendrix chords. They're not like copyrighted and owned by like the Jimi Hendrix estate. It's just
Yeah.
he used them all the fucking time, and he was kind of the first one to do it, or at least the
So-
first one to popularize it.
I was gonna say, with music and dance, you're allowed to use any single moves in construction. It's just the way you construct the melody or the dance that can be sued.
Yeah, well, it's like this was something I was thinking about. So like Uptown Funk, right? The song by Bruno Mars and Mark Robson. It's got like 6 or 5 other songs that it's paying royalties to, because apparently it's like taking parts of that. It sounds similar, and like the thing that the video I was watching about that like kind of broke that down was like, at what point do you just have this song belongs to the genre? Like,
Yeah.
if it's not copying one specific song, but it's like got a bunch of stuff that's relative to a bunch of other songs, it just belongs in the genre. And if your genre is so like specific that all these songs kind of sound similar and can do this to each other, like that's just destroying creative integrity for that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, like, it's definitely what we really need, and I hope we get eventually, are like lawyers and juries and judges who are like specifically like music majors and can kind of like understand that there's a difference between like, yeah, it's like in theory these are all very similar songs, but in practice these are different songs, or like theoretically these songs are different, but it's very obvious that practically you stole, like you lifted this entire song essentially. You know, like there is a difference there. Like all of our stuff, all the stuff that we play is like pop punk adjacent or like emo adjacent. And it's like, yeah, you can definitely tell we really like Green Day and we really like Blink-182. But like, even though we're using the same chords and the same progressions, it's different, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you've heard our shit, so...
Yeah.
There's a difference between like a send up and just straight jacking somebody's shit.
Yeah, dude. Fucking don't want to jack Green Day off. But, like... I mean, and we need that for video games, too, but it's, like, such a new medium relative to law that, like, I think we're going to be fucked for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Big suck.
Big suck. Large suck even. Well,
Did you guys, last thing for
So-
news that I can think of is, did you guys see the Street Fighter V spring season announcement?
I heard there was one. I did not see what it was.
I saw them showing off stuff like some Oro stuff and some what's her name, Akira stuff.
They also showed off Rose stuff.
Is it
Now let me just put it.
season-
Let me put it this way: Street Fighter V is no longer Street Fighter V. It is might as well be Street Fighter 6 because goddamn, there's so much new shit and it's
Yeah.
all fucking cool. Like I don't know why the game took so long to be cool, but the shit is cool now. So
Well,
and
you'll
the game's
notice
just-
that as soon as that one guy left, the game
I
started
mean,
to become real cool. So
I don't know if I can correlate it to that, but it's pretty. It seems like obviously it could just be a coincidence, but
sure, but you know,
it's definitely looking that way. So the game as a general, because of the new defensive options they added, is way faster paced. You can be a little more reckless from what it looks like. I haven't played the game in a while, so like I'm kind of just talking from what I've seen. You can play a little more reckless and play a little aggressive because of the defensive options, because you can get out of strings that are completely like not safe but hard to punish. So if you stop it midway, all of a sudden you got a reversal into a punish. But just going into the new characters that got showed off. What's his name? The old dude.
Oro?
Oro, there we go.
Yeah.
Oro looks like he's cool.
Oro's my dude. He was my guy in Third Strike.
He's got his goofiness. He's got some cool stuff. They showed off a lot of the mocap stuff that looked like a lot of fun to work on. So yeah, they showed off that. Rose though, fucking Rose looks so cool. She looks super fast and super obnoxious.
And like, damn, if that's not my go-to.
Right? So like she has a teleport for a 50-50 mix up with Fireball. Kind of like Dhalsim, but she's faster pace. So it looks like it's going to be fun. She can do all this teleporty crazy stuff. Her combos look sick. Like her combos just look absolutely fantastic because you teleport 3 times in a single combo.
Jesus.
And then you teleport into the air in super. It's fantastic.
Jesus.
Okay. Maybe
she
I'll
has a
dip
Kamehameha
my
for a
toe
super.
back into Street Fighter V a little.
I think Street Fighter V is a real game. That's a real game.
Pog.
It only took 6 years.
I mean, I think the last 2 to 3 seasons it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
But especially now with the newest updates in that V shift is fantastic.
I remember when they were like announcing like Cody and Abigail and shit, and people were like, "Well, you guys look cool, but we don't care."
Like Abigail is one of those characters that I was just like, "The fuck is this? Like, the fuck are we doing here?"
He does not feel like a Street Fighter character.
No. You know what he does feel like a Street Fighter character. He doesn't feel like a Street Fighter he looks like a what's it called character, a beat 'em up character.
Well, because I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure he's from Final Fight.
Okay.
Like a lot of these, like Cody is from Final Fight.
Yeah,
Poison is from Final Fight.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, that's basically what Street Fighter is now. And that's kind of what King of Fighters did. They're just taking other fighting games and then rolling them into Street Fighter. They're taking other games and just rolling them in there. Like they're doing the same thing with rival schools now.
I'd be okay with that. Yo, Rivals, she's in there. She's looking fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
She's got aerial raves.
and I bet if people like her, a bunch of more rival schools characters are gonna start showing up in Street Fighter.
I mean, we could just get a Street Fighter cross rival schools.
I wish, but they're not gonna make a new rival schools game.
I mean, they'll just make a new Street Fighter game that has all the rivals. Like, okay, so realistically, when Street Fighter 6 comes out, how big do you want the roster to be?
I don't know.
When it on release, not with DLC and everything, just on release.
I mean, I guess on release, give me like, I don't know, 12 characters.
12?
Yeah, it's Street Fighter 6, so I feel like you can get a decent, like, to start off, you can get decent kind of variants in characters.
Yeah, I was
get
thinking
a lot of newcomers in there, get a lot of old characters in there, and then as time goes on, you introduce more people.
I think, like, what I was thinking when Street Fighter 6 comes out, I would like to have a starting roster of 20.
Oh, yeah?
I would like. I mean, obviously, I don't really play Street Fighter, so like, meh. But I would like maybe like 12 base going up to 18 unlockable, not buyable, unlockable.
Okay,
Unlockable.
yeah, I'd be down with that.
Like
Like-
an old school fighting game?
Yeah, like play through the story, or you know, I think it should be all stuff that can be done offline.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But
So I would say unlockable or buyable, like with in-game currency.
Yeah.
yeah,
So like
I can see that.
you can unlock them. At like, let's say like you could get all 18 characters within 15 hours. Let's say, or all 18 characters within 15. Or if you were to just play online for like 20 hours,
And you
get
just want to
enough
get my girl Manat? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you could then just buy like 2 or 3 characters from there.
Also, can we just I know they play differently, but can we just take up one roster slot for Ken and Ryu? Like, can they just be the same like space on the board, and you just like hit right bumper, and then you're Ken? Please,
Yeah.
like, come on.
And if you buy the game in the North, Ken starts first.
Right? Yeah. Buy it in America, you get Ken first. Buy it in Japan, you get Ryu first.
Like, I get that they're different now, but like, do they really need different Actually, you know what? No, that is a great way to do that. Where if it's like Evil Ryu or like Kage or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a transformation, or it's essentially the same characters.
Street Fighter 6 comes out. It doesn't have character slots. It says, "Do you want Shoto?" Rushdown?
Yeah.
And you click it, and it shows you all the characters for that
gives you-
playstyle.
Do you want a grappler? Do you want pretzel motions? There you
You
go.
click on Grappler. It shows Armika, Zangief.
Well, that's the thing, right?
yeah.
Like, if you could
Laura.
simplify it so that way your character roster is, like Ryu, and then when you change, like before you select him, you can like right bumper, left bumper to go through like Evil Ryu and Ken and maybe even Akuma. Like that could
Kage,
simplify like the
Sakura.
menu, right?
Yeah.
Just to make it easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that in like a training room scenario where you go to training room or in practice and you click like it breaks them down to play styles. So that way, when you actually want to practice like certain matchups or certain characters, or you want to choose a new character, you go, I want to play a character that's this similar sort of play style, and then it breaks it down for you. So that way, you don't have to
Yeah.
go, I don't actually know what these characters do.
Like you can go into like the Shotos, and then it's like Ryu is power, Ken is speed, Sakura's in between. You know.
Yeah.
Sakura's
yada.
wearing a skirt. Like,
Akuma is a glass cannon.
Right. High damage, low health. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that would be really good for like for newcomers when they go into practice room to be able to see something like that.
Because that even off the bat lets you know what they can do without really touching them too much. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, this character is more my type because it's this way.
Yeah. I think I would like to figure out I want to like figure out what all the classifications for fighting games are, because there's a bunch of different styles of play now.
Yeah.
So like I feel like Brawler is not the same as Rushdown.
oh, I see. That's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about like traditional versus like platform fighter.
No. I mean like the difference between like I want to know what all the full classifications are, not so I can put people in like terms. I just want to know what kind of play styles are, convenient, I should say.
I also want to say, like, when you figure that out, put a giant asterisk that it's like
Yeah.
relative to the game.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
relative to the
Because
game.
like Zoner in Dragon Ball is very different to Zoner in Street Fighter. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're not wrong. And then Zoner in Power Rangers is completely different than like Zoner in Marvel.
Oh, solid.